In China, clean water has become a scarce resource. From population growth and rapid industrialization, pesticides and agricultural runoff, and extreme drought and flooding. The result is a battered ecosystem that makes China's water issues real and pressing.
Water is the biggest issue facing the world. It underpins everything we think about: human development, agriculture, health, energy, everything that economies are using to drive growth and prosperity for their people is underpinned from water.
Kristian Li is the co-founder and brewer at Jing-A Brewing Company. His passion is beer. His profession is beer. And his favorite pastime? You guessed it, it's beer. For inspiration for new flavors, he and his girlfriend frequent this fresh food market in Beijing.
This is really interesting.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at these.
You're crazy, you want to get some?
So this is one of the morning markets in Beijing. My girlfriend and I love coming here. Everything's fresh right from the farm. And we basically pick up all our groceries here and also get inspiration for some of the beers that we do. I think this is a great example of just how in Beijing right now, a lot of people are demanding really fresh product. They want high quality product, and they actually have the money now to pay for better things. And they come to these markets to buy the freshest ingredients that are shipped in daily. So trust has definitely increased, standards have increased. I think there's a lot more regulation and standards around just doing business in general, and especially around food quality. I mean, in China, there's been some issues and been some hiccups related to food quality in China, and they've really sort of put that as a focal point. So when you go to these markets, to be present in these markets, first of all, you need to hit a certain level of quality, and there's going to be regular checks that are happening at the farm level as well as the market level to make sure food quality is there. So, I mean, that leads to just better trust, obviously, of the consumer.
The market is known for safe, healthy food, cultivated with rigorous monitoring standards for both soil and water quality. Beer, like the human body, is mostly water, and every beer maker knows that good beer is all about the water.
We do a lot of international beer festivals, so we go to beer festivals. We're invited to festivals in Europe and the US, and a lot of customers ask, well, where's the water from? Or what's the water situation? Is this clean water? Do you have clean water in Beijing? So that's part of the story for sure that we have to articulate as to what do we do with our water specifically to make us different. Over time, hopefully, as that water story changes, our story as a brewery can change as well, because we don't have to spend so much time trying to educate customers as to why our beer is at the same level as, say, another country.
The climate across China is highly varied. Most of the water comes from the south and the west, while the north faces droughts and water scarcity. Combined with pollution issues across the country, clean water access has become a mounting challenge.
The biggest problem in China nowadays is water. 90% of the rivers or reservoirs in China are polluted. The water flowing inside cannot be, has to be kept away from the human touch. So that means they cannot be used in any functionality.
In April of 2015, China issued a Water Pollution and Prevention Action Plan, known as the Water 10 Plan, a directive to improve and maintain the country's water supplies.
It's designed to clean up the water and then for surface water, and then to regulate closely on industry discharges. So there's a great demand for water purification and water pollution control.
I think the first thing that we think about that usually is an entry point for companies to care about water, and I think there's been a sea change over the last 5 to 10 years where companies and board members and senior executive leaders really get why water is a risk, not just as a steward and what it means for the environment and for the communities they're serving in, but also even for their business bottom line.
Filtration is an important part of life for many Chinese families and businesses, including Christians.
So we have like a 3-stage filter here. Basically what it does is the first phase is taking any of the particulate that's actually in the water, pulling it out. So in Beijing, a lot of these old buildings and the pipes, there's a lot of just sediment, so we want to make sure that we pull that out. That's the first stage. The second stage is what we call basically a carbon filter, and that's taking out any bacteria, pathogens, heavy metals. And the third stage is another filter that's also at the very last stage, taking out any remaining particulate. So at the end of the three-stage process, we have drinking water that comes out of that. And then what we want to do is we take that water, we reboil it again, to make sure that we just killed anything that could potentially be in there. And it also softens the water up, which helps us with our brewing process as well.
Now that the water is clean, Kristian and his staff can start the brewing process.
So this is the hops that we use here. This is basically what we call nugget. We use tons of different hops, probably 20 different varieties in total. And for this beer, we'll probably be using 4 different varieties for this beer alone. So we're just adding the water here. This is what we call our mash tun. So what we're doing now is we're blending hot and cold water together to hit the right temperature that we want. And then here we have basically we're tracking how much water is going in to the mash tun. So this is one of our it's a new beer that we're doing. We're doing this in collaboration with a brewery out of Sweden. And it's a double IPA, and it's hazy on purpose. It's meant to be a hazy beer, super juicy, full of fresh hops. And we're also going to put fresh pineapple in it afterwards. So it's about halfway there. Good. Okay, so now that all the malts are in there, what we're going to do now is we have to make sure that it's mixed up evenly. And the main reason you want to do that is because you want to make sure you get the right conversion. The conversion of basically what we call basic conversion, malt conversion and extract. You want to make sure you hit it right. You're extracting the highest level of sugars you can from this malt. And that's how we make beer. You know, for us, we definitely see a change in terms of the Hygiene Bureau, the Environmental Bureau coming in here and checking us and making sure that we have all of our licenses and making sure that we comply to all of the standards. You know, over time, as water in China changes, especially in Beijing, that's just going to be a good thing for brewers in general. We spend quite a bit of time thinking about our water and how to make sure that A, it's clean, and B, it's got the right profile for the style of beer that we're doing. And I think that, you know, water and beer is kind of interlinked, right? I mean, if you think about certain cities around the world, Prague is known, because of their water profile, they're known for the Czech Pilsner. So it'd be great. I think over time, China will have a story around its water that can help the beer industry.